So, Johnny, what do you think the key is as far as the early game goes? What can humans do to maximize their effectiveness in that early frame?
So games at this level are going to come down to a few things. It's going to come down to stuff like successful lightning shield creeps, if they can pull it off. It's going to come down to macro being up to speed as well. So a lot of games. So I play generally around kind of 1650 rating on EU. So and I find that a lot of my game comes down to macro. If I don't macro well enough, I won't win. And a lot of players focus on micro at this level, but they don't need to. If you're going into a fight, this is something I was explaining to Nilitz in my team, who is, I think he's about 1,200 rating or something. He was going into fights when he should have had 50 food. He was going into fights with like 40 food, 40 versus 50. And that's just down to macro. So you can't even start to think about micro unless you're going into the fight with a decent chance. So people need to macro well. They need to build units whilst they're fighting. They need to build units whilst they're creeping. They need to be upgrading. They need to be going to tier 2. They need to be doing all that whilst they creep. Unless they get that right, the micro doesn't really matter because they're going into an unfair fight anyway. So that's really key in this.
That's a great point. I think that it gets lost in a lot of it. This is such a game that can have tunnel vision, just totally destroy your overall game plan, where you're just trying to get that hero kill, or you're just trying to save that one unit where maybe you should have built a farm 30 seconds ago and you forgot. But it looks like we do have Archmage, and the altar for the teal and for Phil is much faster compared to Soft Ice Cream here. Maybe just a little slightly more polished early game. Who knows?
You're absolutely right. So Soft Ice Cream as well has made a slight error already. So one, his altar is more delayed, so his Archmage is out in less time, and he's also where his farm placement isn't particularly great. So it's down below the altar. It should be beside the altar. You should be making chokes within your base. This is really open now to get into, and you can't build units back here safely. Sorry, you can't build buildings back here safely because the farm takes up some space. So that's the first small error from Soft Ice Cream.
I would like to see the altar from Phil on the northwest side of his base rather than the southeast, just to reduce that time to get towards that lightning shield first creep. We've got scout footies coming across the map for both sides. They won't cross each other, and the Archmage is summoning the water elemental. Militia are a little slow, and it actually looks like we'll be starting these creeps at about the same time for both players. Let's see who can pull this off best.
Are under attack. Town is under siege.
Oh, we got a lightning shield on the rogue, causing massive damage to Soft Ice Cream's militia.
Yeah, so that's the first thing. The creep up top from Phil was great. It was right where it needed to be. This one from Soft Ice Cream is more delayed. He's lost a militia. He's took a lot of damage on his footman as well. So yeah, your Soft Ice Cream is starting to become further and further behind, and that's just small mistakes at the beginning.
So don't be fooled, chat. If we're watching Warcraft 3, especially in the human versus human matchup, the health points on the footmen and the militia, they do matter. It does make a big difference who's got more healthy units heading into the mid game. So these are really important trades and creeping spots here. We see an arcane tower going up in the top right, no arcane in the bottom left, and lots of damaged units. If Phil can see this and scout this, perhaps with a footman, he could potentially do a lot of damage in Soft Ice Cream's base.
Yeah, and what's interesting is Phil Cow lost a peasant in his base, but equally Soft Ice Cream lost the footman that went to his base. So it was a footman for a peasant, which doesn't make sense to me.
Tech is started for top right. Soft Ice Cream's tech is pretty late, looking about 30 seconds late, perhaps a little more. I don't see another farm coming up, so it's not an expansion. I think it's just perhaps a little bit nervous about this first GNL game. I like pulling the militia here to take on the Murlocs to get this level 3. This is the correct creep route, but Phil's just done it much faster, and he's ready for this harass. Ignoring the Archmage, looking to dive into this base and deal some damage.
Yeah, so Phil just runs right past, which isn't actually particularly great. Soft Ice Cream's going to get level 3 and going to be able to come back with... Phil Kill's just get level 3 as well, so But yeah, the tech for him, Soft Ice Cream, is really late, and he actually had gold and lumber sitting there, so actually that falls down to macro. And this is the small mistakes that really matter at this level. So Falco is going to have a second hero out quicker because of that delayed tech, and that's what this game could come down to.
I think this is where Phil is about to put it away. These peasants are still stuck in the Murloc spot, and now we're diving into that base, dealing massive damage, killing 2 peasants right away. A first footy's about to fall as well. Meanwhile, in the northeast, we've got the Arcane Vault coming up, so we're going to be ready for healing if or when Phil decides he needs to teleport home. Like you were saying earlier, Johnny. If we had like you were saying earlier, if we had this closed base, it would really restrict this attack. But now we've got 2 options for Phil to get out. He can get out north by the barracks, or he can get out northeast by the altar.
Yeah, absolutely. And Phil wouldn't have been able to get his units in just as quickly. So if it was blocked off, you would actually see a kind of single file line going into the base. But he was able to just run all of his units in at the same time. And yeah, as you say, there's an escape to the north, escape to the east. And he's managed to get that Archmage out. Also, halfway through the tech is not when you want to be losing peasants. He's lost a lot of peasants here. In fact, he probably does he even have 5 to go back onto gold?
He does have peasants still in the Murloc spot. They've been sitting there for a little while, so he could perhaps recover by putting him on gold and buying a Shredder. We'll see if he can pick up on this macro decision. Sometimes it's hard to remember that the Shredder is available. He needs to get those peasants back mining. They're costing him valuable time.
They really are. Still not moved on as well. And this is what I'm saying. So if you don't have this down, so most people look at fights later on in the game, they're like, oh, how did I lose that? You know, we're human, it was a human mirror. But actually you're going into a fight with 50 food versus 40. And that's because of macro mistakes like this. He needs to get those peasants back on quicker.
One saving grace for Soft Ice Cream is hero levels. We've got about 4 and 4 is pretty even. So as far as experience goes, he's not out of it yet. He does need to buy that Shredder soon, though, for him to get both Arcane Sanctums up and his Mountain King coming. Phil's coming down for some more harass in the bottom left. Just some poke to see what's going on. Perhaps he can extend this lead, but we got the Mountain King coming out. Okay, let's see what creep he decides to pick on next. If I had to guess, I would say maybe the Trolls. Perhaps he could even take his opponent's shot. We've got a late Scout Tower coming up in the main for Soft Ice Cream. No Sanctums yet. If we compare this to the other side, we do have a Blacksmith, interestingly enough, and our first Sanctum coming up.
Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. So this second hero is so much quicker for Phil because his tech was quicker, so it's just Soft Ice Cream.
Soft Ice Cream realizes the inequality and taps out. And honestly, this is how we see a lot of the human games play out, is in that tier 1 to tier 2 tech is a critical moment for maintaining your lead, or at least keeping up with that. So interesting in game 1 for sure. Looks like it goes back to Soft Ice Cream for the loser map. Now, if you were Soft Ice Cream, which map would you feel more comfortable playing based off of what you've seen in this first game? Would you have a particular leaning one way or the other?
So if I was Soft Ice Cream, I don't know. So you get Concealed Hill or Echo Isles at this stage. So Echo Isles is close for me. So if you're Soft Ice Cream and probably the slightly weaker player in this matchup, you probably want to opt for Concealed Hill, just because you're further away. It gives you a bit more breathing space, gives you time to get your macros sorted out, get your tech up. You don't have to be multitasking, fighting whilst getting your tech up. So I'd probably go Concealed Hill because it's just further away from the player base.
It's a good point. The creep route in Concealed Hill is a little more complicated as well. There's many different options as to getting that level 3. Even from the starting, when I'm playing human versus human, I like pulling the golem camp and getting that level 2 right off the bat. A little more tricky, but it just creates more variability, where perhaps you, instead of winning on build orders or micro decisions, perhaps you can reach into your strategy bank a little bit further and try to stretch your win that way.
No, absolutely. By the way, the update, there is patch notes for the update,
Oh.
and beetles have been nerfed, which is great.
Now,
So,
was this the big HP nerf?
so yeah, there's an HP nerf, yeah. So it goes 330 HP at level 2 down to 275, and at level 3 it goes from 490 HP to 410.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
significant.
Mana cost is also increased by 5 mana, which I still think is too low. So if you think you get two beetles for that, is that right? You get 2 beetles for 50 mana, whereas if you're looking at treants, for example, it's a lot more mana for only 2 treants from the Keep of the Grove.
It's interesting how they've changed the mana cost so slightly, which would be kind of more in line with their previous balance decisions of just small fine tunings of thinking of like the Rifleman nerf or buff. But then they changed the health of the beetles by such a significant margin. I wonder if sometimes I wonder if that's the right move. I mean, the beetles are so good, but it's kind of fun to see players try to come up with new ways to counter them, new ways of playing. I hope it's not enough to just totally relegate the Crypt Lord into being a non-pick or just a random third hero again. I like seeing the variety in undead strategy out there.
No, absolutely. I think it does add variety, which is great. You're absolutely right. So I hope it doesn't stop Crypt Lord being picked. I hope it's just that right nerf that he needs to stop kind of walking over human players, for example.
In chat, we've got Lucker, team captain of No Hands Mexican, saying he would go in a different direction for nerfing the Crypt Lord. He would just delete Undead from the game. Just take them out as a race. Reduce the game to a 3-race game instead of 4. I hear a lot of people saying that about Night Elf, but maybe not as much about Undead.
Oh, come on, you cannot delete Night Elf. That's silly. That's silly. Frankly, you can delete Keeper of the Grove, I don't care. I am a Demon Hunter player and will probably always play Demon Hunter anyway. So.
Demon Hunter, the hero that's fun to play as, frustrating to play against. That mana burn is just a kind of a bad balance, or a bad game design where it just makes the game unfun for your opponents, but he is a tank. He is a great frontline player, and interesting strategies definitely revolve around him. Okay, so we've got our second game starting on Concealed Hill. So that's Softicecream's pick, who's taking on the blue color, and Phil Cow is taking on the red.
So this is the map that I thought Softicecream would pick, and it's just because it gives him that little bit extra room between him and his opponent. It's a longer way to get there. So hopefully he can pick up level 3 before Phil pushes.
And we are expecting that push. That is the kind of meta tactic of humans, is that tier 1/2 timing. If you can attack, often it favors the offensive player who's pushing into the other player's base. So we'll see who can flex their advantage the best. Softicecream, again, the base layout is looking can be improved a bit, where I see the altar is a little close to that town hall compared to where it could be. Base design looking really solid in the bottom left for Phil. He is leaving that 1 farm space. I think that there might be also room to get into the base by the barracks. Altar position seems a little... both players putting it towards the turtle camp rather than towards their first creep camps. So it'll cost them 2 or 3 seconds to move their first hero in.
Yeah. And if you go to Softicecream's base again, he's built that farm in the back again, which again is going to leave Phil 2 ways in, 2 ways out of his base.
And this is quite a big hole in the east side of Softicecream's base. That perhaps could be, if you build your farm closer to that tree wall, you can put the barracks right against it and prevent that way in. You're right. I think that open base design is going to cost him again in this second game. But for both players, we see the Archmage, similar timings, almost identical timings for each of them. We'll see if we see... oh, Yeah, good. Soft Ice Cream is closing off that base. Good move. Maybe we'll see an early Arcane Tower this time. Scout Footy's coming out.
And they're both going to meet in the middle, as is the pathing in this in this map.
So neither player electing to go for the Golem camp by the lab. I think both will expect to see pulling that very small orange camp and getting that level 2 item right away. Archmage comes out. Militia a little late, but coming.
What you see here is Soft Ice Cream has attack moved his footman, and it's latched on to Phil's footman when it walked past, so therefore he hasn't actually scouted yet.
That's another easy mistake, or easy thing to fix if you're looking for small improvements in your game. Watching these replays can be so helpful, just to pick up on at least 1 or 2 things a game that you can really take back to your army. Phil taking a lot of damage on one of his footies, getting claws as his reward, and claws again for Soft Ice Cream, who's microing in his base trying to take off this scout footy. Finding level 2 from that scout. Both players sacrificing their scout footmen. I think that this is a bit of a mistake.
Yeah.
No need to give up that footy. Just to get that information, get back home.
Absolutely. So that is a mistake. You know, you could so right now, like if you were Soft Ice Cream, you've killed his scout footy, you could be a footman up, and that's huge in Mirror. It's like huge. You know, an extra unit is massive. So absolutely, both need to not work on not losing that unit.
Taking a lot more damage on this this footman rather than the water elemental. Unfortunate again. How much do you recommend new players just to focus on their single player game? Just working on build order, just working on creep routes. I think that it's almost the #1 thing that we can do to help players really understand this game.
So absolutely, that is huge. It's something that I'm still learning as well. Like even tonight, I had Arc RS, you know, the really good Night Elf player.
Oh yeah,
he comes and watches my stream. It just happens to coincide with his last hour of work, so he kind of watches it whilst he's going. And even tonight, he was telling me you need to focus on like building placement, you need to focus on build order, all that sort of stuff. It's huge, you know. Even into the kind of 1500, 1600 player, 1700 player, it's huge.
Okay, so we see Phil Cow taking down that first footy. He's looking for the second footy. I like where he's putting the damage. He's deciding, I don't need to waste my damage into my opponent's summon. I can just take on the already hurt footies. And this is where the creeping really matters. We see the scout tower, again, a little bit late. I like how he's pulling the peasants. He's saying, I know you're going to attack it. Let's get repair. Oh, he's not repairing it. Oh, no.
No, he throws them into
Oh,
militia.
it doesn't cancel it
He
either.
also doesn't cancel it either. So there's a lot of gold and a lot of wood lost there.
Player's forces are under attack.
Peasants coming in. Militia for the defense. We've got 2 water elementals in the peasant line.
So this is where Phil's multitasking is just that little bit better. He's recognised that he's going to get pushed back here, but he puts the 2 water elementals in just to punish those peasants a wee bit.
Just soften them up for the Archmage to come in and start finishing him off. And then we've got 3 footies in the base with the Archmage. These claws of attack are really putting in a lot of work. Another peasant falls. And another peasant falls. I'm not sure if we'll make it to Breakers today, Johnny. I think we might just have a tier 1 game on our hands here.
Absolutely not. So that's 3 peasants. It's level 3 as well. There's going to be a level 2 water elemental coming up any second now from Phil. And these things are like a lot of top. That's huge.
Soft Ice Cream just desperately... Wow, taking the TP out. I'm kind of surprised. When he's got mana for another water elemental. But he sees that perhaps the damage is done. Let's just try to take on this lead and build off of it from there.
And during that, Soft Ice Cream has cancelled his... No, he hasn't cancelled his... I thought he cancelled his upgrade. I was like, jeez.
Looks like Soft Ice Cream has accidentally put formation movement on during that scuffle as well. Losing some movement speed there. So Phil now taking on his turtle camp. He's got a few hurt footies, but he's got his Arcane Vault coming up a little late, but nothing too dangerous. And Arcane Sanctum. If we look in the northeast, the macro is quite a bit behind. Especially lumber.
In terms of the hero as well. So if you look, Phil's got his MP out, and actually Soft Ice Cream has just begun. It's only halfway through training.
It's going to be tough for for Softicecream to make his way back into this game. If you were in Softicecream's position in this spot, what would you be thinking about? How can I perhaps get myself back in here? What would be some ways to stretch that lead? Or to claw your way back into the game?
So definitely needs to do something to harm the economy of Phil. So needs to maybe pick up a Zeppelin, something like that, do some drops, really just kind of stop Phil from creeping the map at the minute, and stop Phil from pressuring you in your base. So you would really like to go and put some pressure on Phil's base, put some pressure on the peon line, maybe do some Zeppelin drops, fly over the trees back in, and it really just slows up Phil's game quite a lot, so he can't creep. He can't put pressure on you, and you can get your economy back up running again.
Going clap first. Interesting.
So, clap wars, that's interesting. I mean, so what Softicecream could have done there was not pick a skill, and he could have waited until this battle.
Actually, both Mountain Kings have picked clap.
Yeah, so that Softicecream, if you pick Bolt, that's probably a dead Archmage right now. Doesn't have a TP, can't get out of it. If you picked up Bolt, that Archmage could have been dead.
I really like Softicecream's building lots of footmen, just pouring more and more resources into the footies to try to stretch his tier 1, the relevancy of his tier 1 units, and make the most of that. I like how they're trying to spend their gold, although they are sitting on 1100 gold compared to 750 for Philcow. Philcow's Mountain King is separated from his army, and looks like Softicecream's trying to smash these water elementals, get a little bit of experience back, find his way into this game. Experience on the Mountain King is actually pretty even for both players. Actually, it looks like Softicecream has got an experience lead, although a small one.
Softicecream though, his macro slipped again, and this is when it comes down to he's not getting wood. He's got 4 peasants on wood, so he needs to pick up shred really quickly, or he needs to start building peasants. So his wood has just fell so far behind.
Forces are under attack.
So we've got the Philcow's priests are now adept, so we'll see how well he can make use of his dispel, and we'll see how well Softicecream can make these priests a non-issue by focusing them early in the fight. We do have breakers starting to come through.
So
and the first priest joining army as well.
I just really wish Softicecream's MK had the Bolt right now. He honestly could be killing priests, he could be killing the MK. Bolt would have been a much better pickup in this situation.
Especially when a human army versus human lacks lockdown. You can't use sorceresses against human. You kind of need to rely on your hero spells for getting those kills. Seen a lot of damage going into these footies, and the clap is putting in some work, trading 2 footies for 1 priest, but we see level 2 on Philcow, and this could be big. A Stormbolt right here could really punish this Mountain King. A Stormbolt on the Mountain King could finish him off and really secure his win. Where's the Stormbolt, Philcow?
Has he went bash? I haven't seen a bash so far, so I presume not. But you're absolutely right, that could have been a Stormbolt on that Mountain King, and it could have died. And it actually could have been a Stormbolt in the Archmage as well.
Mountain King gets away with 12 health. Really close call.
Softicecream's still sitting on 1000 gold.
So this feels really bad for Softicecream. He's looking at just very few units and very few accessible creep camps that he can try to claw his way back into it. He's only producing units from 1 production building rather than 2, and he's feeling the effects of that. Oh, and the Archmage falls with the Stormbolt.
Even at that, Phil's macro is slipped a wee bit. He's got some units just sitting at his Arcane Sanctums. Or did have. He's pulled 2 out now, but he's still got 2 priests sitting there.
So we've got a 47 versus 30 supply lead. It's looking pretty grim for Softicecream. Okay, push comes in with 5 breakers and level 4 and level 2 heroes. We do have that. I like how the Arcane Tower is positioned in this case. It does protect your lumber peasants still and your gold peasants, and throws that arcane splash damage pretty far. I also like this creep from Phil Cow. It says, why push now? We can get level 3 in the Mountain King and really make the most of our level 2 Stormbolt. But perhaps we got a creep jack here. Maybe this is Soft Ice Cream's way back into the game. Finding the priests.
So he's going to get level 2 of this priest.
Where's the Stormbolt? I want to see a Stormbolt coming down.
MK.
Right on the MK. Pops the health potion. The Stormbolt comes, but no follow-up. He did get the greater healing potion. That's going to be huge for him.
Oh.
And Soft Ice Cream, the morale. Seeing that health bar tick all the way up is just soul crushing.
Stormbolt comes
Oh
in.
no! Soft Ice Cream crawling back. He's got 33 supply. Archmage is about 7/8 of the way finished. Can we hang on inside the base, hunker down a bit more? So what I would like to see Phil doing here is making the most of his lead. You can see he just took to tier 3. That's great. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can make more units, break upkeep, or you can go into tier 3. It looks like his Arcane Sanctum is not in the same control group as the other, as he's got 4 priests queued on one Arcane Sanctum and no priest queued on the other. He's also supply stuck at 48 food. It'd be nice to see a blacksmith coming up as well to start stretching into upgrades for his spell breakers. Because that can really make a big difference in the breaker wars. Let's see if he picks up some items. Yeah, he gets boots, invuln, and I want to see a TP and a heal scroll. You got the money. Why not spend it?
Absolutely. So he should have picked up a heal scroll, and yeah, you're absolutely right, and a TP. So he's at nearly 50 out of 50 food, so you're not want to break that. He's also supply blocked. He also has even more gold than you actually think. So he's got 950 gold right now, but he's also got 3 priests that's queued and not been building. So that's an extra, a couple of hundred gold in there as well. And this item in the middle could really help. So it's the Warsong battle drums that could really help this fight. So it's basically increased attack damage. It's for spellbreakers, which is great against spellbreakers Warsong.
So this might be Soft Ice Cream's way back into the game. I like how he's pulling his Archmage away. He says, let's get my Mountain King some more solo experience. But maybe he's going to get intercepted here. A Stormbolt could really end him. Oh, it comes down. Surrounded the breakers. Come on. He's working on it. And an invuln out. Great reflexes. Fighting out of that. He does have the TP. He can. Oh, another surround.
He needs the TP here because he's just going to get bolted and he's made that. Yep, so that's a good move. And watch that Spellbreaker that's low on health. You don't want that to die before you go. And that's exactly what happened.
It's these little things, and this priest is going to get picked off too. Likely, nope. He escapes with his life. We see some peasants in the bottom right looking to build a town hall. I like this. You got the advantage. We're going to push into the base, have a bit of siege, build up our resource advantage here.
Soft Ice Cream macro's still slipping, so he's going into this fight at 39 food versus 52, but he's also going in at 1,400 gold.
Mountain King gets 3, will not live to see the benefits. Both players looking to target priests. We've got a priest from Phil stuck in the south. Soft Ice Cream's priest falling one after another. Breakers falling. Mountain King does have invuln. I'd like to see him use the invuln and then use the replenishment potion. As soon as that other Mountain King comes back, although it is queued in the altar, it's going to take a long time.
This is the thing, Soft Ice Cream's got to go, they could just buy it back from the tavern.
Phil using that replenishment potion, amping up his mana regeneration.
He's going to come in and
I like to see this control magic. Well done. Both players making use of this Spellbreaker spell. I think. Definitely saw one water elemental be turned. Oh yeah, another one stolen as well. He's actually donating a lot of experience back to Soft Ice Cream though. I want to see the Stormbolt come. Use the
The Archmage
Stormbolt.
may fall, by the way. The
Archmage
Archmage is
default.
dead.
Archmage is dead. How has he
What
come?
the hell?
How has he found his way back in this?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know what this
Heroes
is.
falling left and right. Both Phil Cow, he's got his expo, it's running, he's got some towers. He's queued up his Archmage from the altar. But he's got 4 breakers queued. Just buy it from the tavern, man. You need that Archmage, you need that mana regen. And you need that Paladin coming out faster. The altar's too slow.
So, Soft Ice Cream, that definitely has formation running on, which is really annoying me at the moment. So
Alt F.
He needs to take that.
Alt F.
He also shouldn't be taking this fight. He got away with that fight up at his base because he managed to kill Archmage, but he's not.
He may lose his
advantage
Archmage
just
now. His Archmage is naked.
He just shouldn't push here.
He is scouting this expo, sees all these towers, and that can be a pretty demoralizing thing to see. We do not have a lumber mill up, so we do not have any kind of... Oh, we do have a lumber mill. Perhaps there are some defensive upgrades for the buildings, but... Okay, here we are. Another engagement. We see a surround on the Archmage. We see a... Oh, no. Not going for the hero? Okay, now he's going for the hero.
See it now, yeah.
Just Stormbolt him.
Stormbolt MK.
Oh, the MP comes back just in time.
Get out,
He's
get
trying to
out.
survive. He's got 45 life, but the Stormbolt's coming off cooldown. Just use it. The hammer to the head takes him down. Does Soft Ice Cream have the sense to get out of here now? Perhaps he can take out a priest, but no, there's no priest. Just breakers, just purely breakers. The Mana King have all his mana sapped. We've got another...
King's going to have enough for a Stormbolt just
Mana
now.
Potion used, Stormbolt out. Archmage back. And we've got some misrallied troops actually doing a great job blocking the opponent's army.
Not entirely, man.
No.
Oh,
But this
that
Mountain King
goes back
is
into
going to find
Stormbolt.
his end.
Been surrounded. Yeah, he's dead.
The good news is we do have the resources to buy him back, and Soft Ice Cream does see that. He's already at the tavern, ready to go. And rejoining his army. So 45 food for Soft Ice Cream, 60 food for Phil Cow. Blacksmith is up. We've got 0-0 upgrades still for both players. But this expo is running. Pausing at the lab. I would like to see more priests in Phil Cow's army. He's got a lot of hurt breakers. He's going to donate this one for free. Oh, saves him with 14 life left. Can Soft Ice Cream find it? Nope. Soft Ice Cream realizes that he needs to either counter expand or all in push, and he says, I don't have the resources to all in push, so we're going to try to counter expand. Level 2 clap coming down hard in the economy line, dazing a lot of these peasants. He's going to get a 4 kill here. 2 peasants down, 3 peasants down. All of the economy of Soft Ice Cream has been devastated. Soft Ice Cream finds the pendant of mana, pendant of energy, but at what cost?
Absolutely, and slightly poor. It's poor decision making by Soft Ice Cream to go and creep that whilst these breakers were in space.
7 breakers in the base for Phil Cow. But we do have 3 priests for Soft Ice Cream. If we can dispel these water elementals, we may be able to find our way back in. Although this clap is doing a lot of damage to them. The priests are out of position, need to be in the back. They are just food for these breakers.
So the mana on Soft Ice Cream's MK there. Although the MK of Phil has got an intel pot, so he won't do much damage there. And he's also got lights as well.
25 food for Soft Ice Cream is looking pretty dim for him. The Paladin's coming out getting lots of experience. Then the Mountain King falls again. We got to think that this is the end for Soft Ice Cream's run. He's out of gold even to power build his expansion in the top left. He taps out. Good game. Well played. Well played by both players. Lots of things to pick up on. I hope they watch the replays. Another great GNL game. I really like how this league is open to players of all levels of skill, and I congratulate both players for taking on perhaps their first step into this competitive scene.
Absolutely. You know, there's a lot to learn there, I think, for both players, really. But yeah, good on them for getting out there and pllaying, you know.
So 3 big points for the base lane advocates. And this is this makes up for Gear's loss earlier in the day to Remote. So we got the series tied at 3 points apiece for both of these teams. It looks like it's going to be a pretty close week. Going back to our spreadsheet. Let's do that. Looks like we've got No Hands Mexicans so far leading, although it's early, with 2 series wins, 7 points. And then that would be 3 points each for Clutch or Kick and Base Lane Advocates. 2 points for the Tavern, and we've got a lot of games left to play for going full North America and no tanks, no wins.
Yeah, there's a lot of games still to play. A lot of games still to play.
So, Johnny, do you have any particular games that you're looking forward to watching this week?
So absolutely, yeah. So I'm really looking forward to Valhalla Ember. I think that'll be a really good game. I play with Ember quite a lot. Obviously, Valhalla is in my team. So really looking forward to that. That'll be a really good game. Ember obviously playing human. I think Ember's Undead is probably slightly too strong for anyone in this competition. So yeah, Ember playing human is really good. It should be a really good game. It should be really close. Looking forward to seeing Floss actually, because I've played with Floss for a number of years now. So not, you know, off and on, like we've just had random games against each other. So really good to see how much he's improved. So really looking forward to seeing that as well. Probably another couple, like I've seen Cheeseboy. Cheeseboy's been about a lot. I think he's played in every GNL so far. So it'd be really good to see how these people have improved, you know, that people I've seen as well. So
really here's an interesting game, Jats. 2K9 versus Floss 2 times daily. This is actually a rematch from our Washed Up League Season 1 we played in July. So Floss and me and Jats and Mage and Nasty Bruises all formed the lowest division of Washed Up League, and we had some great series. So I'm Floss came in 4th in the GNL, or at least in the semifinals. He made it. But this is should be a pretty good rematch. I think it'll be interesting. I'm also interested in Japocalypto versus Nualtse. I think that'll be a pretty good series. Japocalypse has played in a number of seasons as well. I'm curious how that one's going to go. From and yes, thank you, Remote. And Nova also played in this as well. We have a lot of gym players from Washed Up League. Remote saying Haster won 2-0 for Clutch or Kick as well, so that would put them up 6 points to 3 over the Base Lane Advocates for week 1.
Absolutely. So still a lot of games to play. Who knows how it will turn out? I think at the end of the week, but it will certainly be interesting.
Well, over the next couple of days, I'll be working on a week 1 highlights video, so I'll post that into the league, and perhaps we can get some cool clips from this series and for some of the other as well. But thank you so much for coming on to CoK, Johnny. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Fun to have an extra voice on the scene, and also to explore all the different talent in the community.
No worries at all. No, thanks very much. I've enjoyed it.
Would you like to plug your stream for the viewers to find you?
So yeah, it's just Twitch/Nojonnyallowed _rookie. So
awesome. Check them out. Check out the gym Discord if you haven't been there yet.
And
we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Bye.